Hello, my name is Quinn Cisneros, and today I will be doing a comparison of the Greek gods Zeus, Hermes, and Athena. We're going to start off with Zeus and some of his background information. Zeus was the god amongst gods in Greek mythology. He was known as ruler of the sky. He was father to Athena, who will be discussed in this project later on. The statue was an astounding 64 meters by 27 meters, but it would soon be destroyed. The statue was even larger than his own daughters by a wide margin. Many question Zeus's power, as they are quite confused on how powerful he actually was. Zeus was solely built on religious beliefs. It was made out of respect for the Greek god. According to the article Zeus and Aeschylus by Hugh Lloyd Jones, Zeus was viewed differently by many people. Here's a good quote from the article stating, elsewhere in Aeschylus, they could argue Zeus was treated with profound respect. In the supplices, he is continually appealed to by the chorus of Danaids, who miss no opportunity to extol the supremacy of his power. As you can see in the top right corner, there is the statue of Zeus. Now on to some Athena background information. Athena was known as the daughter of the Greek god Zeus. She is very well known, though she is not talked about enough. Her relationship with her father is quite unique. Here is an interesting quote from the article I researched stating, in many ways, she was seen as his favorite child, or at least one of his most loved. Athena was also often shown in close counsel with her father, and even convincing him toward a course of action when none of the other gods could. The story of how Athena was made can be very odd to others. She was actually made from Zeus's head after he consumed his ex-wife. Athena was known to wear armor as well and be a warrior for her father. Her statue was approximately 11.5 meters tall and stood on a pedestal measuring 4 by 8 meters. The sculpture was assembled around a wooden core covered with shaped bronze plates, which were covered in turn with removable gold plates, except for the gleaming ivory surfaces of the goddess's face and arms. As you can see here is a normal man standing next to the Athena statue. Now on to some Hermes background information. According to the article titled Hermes by Mark Cartwright, Hermes was the ancient Greek god of trade, wealth, luck, fertility, animal husbandry, sleep, language, thieves, and travel. One of the cleverest and most mischievous of the Olympian gods, he was the patron of shepherds. He invented the lyre, and was above all the herald and messenger of Mount Olympus, so that he came to symbolize the crossing of boundaries in his role as a guide between the two realms of gods and humanity. To the Romans, the god was known as Mercury. He was also known as the son of Zeus. As a baby, he started off young with this thief mindset. He would go on to steal 50 sheep from a fellow Greek god, Apollo's cattle. Here's a great quote that symbolizes Hermes. Famous for his diplomatic skills, Hermes was regarded as the patron of languages and rhetoric. Hermes was known for inventing the alphabet, fire, and dice, also known as knucklebones. He basically started up gambling as well. The statue of Hermes is quite sad, as his statue was torn limb for limb and is not as big as his father and sister. The dimensions of the statue are as followed. The height, 0.45 meters, length, 0.25 meters, width, 0.43 meters, as seen in the next slide. And here is the sculpture of Hermes. There are no limbs. Why are all three so important? Now, obviously, we all know Zeus was the most important Greek god in Greek mythology, but what made him this important? Zeus wasn't just the king of the gods to the Greeks, but was worshipped as the king of all gods and men. He is the deciding factor of what happens to all belongings and all of the events of Greek mythology. They are all either connected or directly caused by him. Goddess Athena was the mythological goddess of wisdom, but also the poetic symbol of reason and purity. Goddess Athena was very important to the Greeks since they named her the Iliads, goddess of fight, the warrior defender, the protector of civilized life, and artisan activities, and so on. Now for Hermes, he was the primary messenger of the gods, especially for Zeus. Hermes shows up in many tales of Greek mythology. Both Hermes' speed and his skills as a speaker made him an excellent messenger. Hermes would carry commands from Zeus to other gods and creatures, such as when he told the nymph Calypso to set Odyssey free in Homer's Odyssey. Why are their statues so important historically and artistically? The most important function of Greek sculpture was to honor gods and goddesses. Statues were placed in temples or were carved as part of a temple. Greek temples were shrines created to preserve the images of the gods. The people worshipped outdoors. People wonder why statues are missing parts, but it is indeed true that a few ancient sculptures were indeed deliberately defaced by various peoples at various times for various different reasons. Instead, the reason for the missing parts has to do with the natural wear that the sculptures have suffered over time. We may observe similar changes of fortune in the lives of Greek divine statues, but in many respects, these changes are more complex, not the least because of the fundamental significance of statues for Greek religion. Although divine statues or other divine images were not as indispensable element in the worship of the gods, they did enhance worship, in particular through their emotive power. It is not a coincidence that the Christians use a term that highlights the importance of statues to label polytheistic worship, calling it idolatry. And here are the works cited for all the research I did for the project. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you.